Hi there folks, this is Tony for A Minute to Midnight with a short video update, but I think some important topics I will be covering in it. Before I get into the main video, I just want to say, many of you would know that my wife Holly and I have been apart a lot of the time because she's been in America getting some treatment for SIRS and health issues, and so we've made trips back and forward. I've been over there a few times and she's been back here, but a lot of the time we've not been able to be in the same country. Well, the time has come now where we want Holly back in New Zealand, hopefully permanently, if she can get a visa to be here as soon as possible. So why I'm saying that is, we do run A Minute to Midnight 100% by donations and rely on donations, which I will be honest have been slow lately compared to how they've historically been. We've still been getting good viewer numbers and lots of subscribers, but the donations have been largely not particularly good. And I guess it's probably because many people are struggling with financial difficulties. But so what I'm wanting to ask here is if anyone is able to help at the moment, it would be really much appreciated, even more than usual, because we need to find the money to get Holly back to New Zealand to be able to bring the final medication that she needs, which is expensive to come back and finish it here, plus airfares and everything else. So we want her back here ASAP. The reality is right now we don't have the money to do it. If anyone is able to help, that would be so much appreciated at this time. Donations are always appreciated, but I guess even more than ever right now, we could use them. So I won't say any more about that, but if you're able to help us, that would be really great. So, okay. Now, the world is fast becoming one of more and more illusion. It's becoming harder to distinguish what is real and what is fake and what is AI generated. And take YouTube, for example. There are more and more videos made by AI with pictures created by AI and stories made up by AI with no warning, in many cases, that it's AI generated. From impossible animal stories, some of them feel good and some of them not feel good, but with obvious AI pictures and AI generated stories and who knows what else. AI is increasingly shaping our world and most people are embracing it, vaguely aware of the dangers, but mostly sucked in by its promises to make life easier. Well, now psychological warfare has entered a whole new phase. I see it as the rising of the beast infrastructure and how in the end most people will give their minds and bodies to the technology and ultimately to the beast system. So what I want to do is cover a little bit of some important aspects of this. So experts are saying 90% of online content will be AI generated by 2026, and this comes from futurism.com. Don't believe everything you see on the internet has been pretty standard advice for quite some time now. And according to a new report from European law enforcement group Europol, we have all the reason in the world to step up that vigilance. Experts estimate that as much as 90% of online content may soon be synthetically generated by 2026. The report warned, adding that synthetic media refers to media generated or manipulated using artificial intelligence. On a daily basis, people trust their own perception to guide them and tell them what is real and what is not, reads the Europol report. Auditory and visual recordings of an event are often treated as a truthful account of an event, but what if these media can be generated artificially, adapted to show events that never took place, and to misrepresent events or distort the truth? I believe that's absolutely what is going on here. And it's going to play into the hands of governments and the big corporations who will need to police all this to keep us safe in the future, supposedly. It will require more regulation, of course, And then, as we saw during COVID, we will have no one that we can really trust. We'll have to trust, supposedly, the one source of truth, no questions asked, as we did in New Zealand, supposedly, with Jacinda Ardern. Anything that goes against the WEF, the UN, the world government narrative will need to be controlled. And then, as well as that, we have brain-computer interfaces pushing the boundaries into transhumanism. And in an article titled, "We Need to Rethink AI Before It Destroys What It Means to Be Human," it's written by Jeff Dornick at American Greatness, he states, Elon Musk and Bill Gates have both pitched the idea of universal basic income to replace traditional employment that AI is going to replace. Musk has said there will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want one for personal satisfaction, but AI will do everything. Gates has proposed taxing robot labour to fund people who no longer work. The reality is that work is more than a paycheck. It is not just how we survive, it is how we find purpose, it's how we grow, how we learn, and how we take responsibility. Struggle is not a flaw in the system, it's part of what makes us human. The daily grind, the failures, the perseverance, the sense of accomplishment, strip all that away and you have stripped away humanity. The problem goes deeper. Through Neuralink, Musk wants to merge the human brain with AI. On the Joe Rogan Experience, he claimed the technology could erase memories and implant new ones. Now, that may sound redemptive for trauma survivors, but in the wrong hands, it's pure dystopia. Governments or corporations with the power to rewrite memory and reshape thought do not create freedom, they create digital slaves. Meanwhile, the Food and Drug Administration is now authorizing AI-simulated clinical trials for drug and vaccine development. That means fewer real-world trials and more reliance on algorithms. But those models are only as good or biased as the data and the programmers behind them. And let us not forget Big Pharma's grip on federal health agencies is well documented. While RFK Jr. and his team may be holding the line now, what happens when a new administration takes over and the revolving door between pharmaceutical companies and regulators swings wide open again? And of course, we saw the way that is tyrannically driven during COVID, big time. And, I can see the same thing repeating again in the next pandemic or whatever. But it's not just Elon Musk and Neuralink delving into the field either of human brain interface with computers. There are others, including Sam Altman is in the process of co-funding a new brain-to-computer interface startup called Merge Labs and raising funds for it. Merge Labs will compete with Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is developing computer interface chips designed to be implanted in the brain, and that comes from techcrunch.com. It is also a time when, through the likes of Project Stargate, we are seeing absolutely massive data centers being constructed for the use of AI. The machine that is eating the earth. AI data centers and their supercomputers are consuming rural America, wrote David Haggith at the Daily Doom. AI invades the country, and here's just a part of that article. He says, I'm not talking national invasion or a musical invasion. That's country as in rural communities that have never saw it coming. It's really a case of the billionaires who own the AI companies taking over farm communities because they need the open space to create power and massive complexes, so they are sucking the communities dry of life that the land once produced and of the human culture built around deriving life off the land. Farms that once produced food for humans are being repurposed as land to build AI data centers and solar farms that produce no food at all. The water supplies that once ran your showers, dishwashers and toilets are being redirected to AI data centers, cooling systems, leaving humans with water scarcity and little remaining irrigation for food growing. However, it's not just the farm communities where vast acreage can be put to more profitable use than growing corn for people to eat of or even for livestock. It's corn grown to feed fuel to the world's biggest energy-ravenous supercomputers, or to lay out acres of solar panels sucking the life off the landscape and turning the earth around us into a big, shiny, energy-producing machine for nourish the big other machines mankind is striving to create. And it's not just hitting rural communities. Energy is distributed nationally, so raising the load on an overtaxed system that requires rapid upgrading increases the cost for everyone. The power grid that once supplied affordable energy to run your home computers, cook stoves and lights is being redirected to power AI data centers or data servers. At the same time that our drive to create AI all over the nation is sucking energy away from the average person and raising its cost, it's also taking away their jobs. As we've all heard, AI is on the verge of replacing 80% of white-collar jobs. A few years later, AI robots will replace the vast majority of human labour. And Trump's AI action plan demands more of them be built all over the country, as the president's executive action strips states of the power to regulate AI while allowing the federal government to sanction or steal more land to build these data centers and other AI-related enterprises. According to the plan, by stabilizing the grid of today, optimizing existing grid resources, and growing the grid for the future, the United States can rise to the challenge of winning the AI race while delivering a reliable and affordable power grid for all Americans. When the AI Action Plan was announced last month, it was accompanied with an executive order accelerating federal permitting and data center infrastructure. That's from the dailydoom.com. As an example of how huge this is, and just to give you some idea, let's look at Wyoming. A massive Wyoming data center will soon use 5 times more power than the state's human occupants, but no one knows who's using it. Plans for a new AI data center in Cheyenne, Wyoming have raised serious questions about energy use and infrastructure demands. The proposed facility, a collaboration between energy company Tallgrass and data center developer Crusoe, is expected to start at 1.8 gigawatts and could scale to an immense 10 gigawatts. For context, that's over 5 times more electricity than what all households in Wyoming currently use. Given the extraordinary energy demands, drawing power from the public grid is not an option. Instead, the developers intend to power the site using a combination of natural gas and renewables built specifically for the facility. However, the mystery around the project continues to deepen because the future occupant of the data center has not been named. Speculation is focused on OpenAI, as the AI giant recently partnered with Crusoe on a separate facility in Texas, described as the largest data center in the world. Project reportedly draws about 1 gigawatt of energy and is part of OpenAI's broader Stargate initiative, and that's from techradar.com. But it's not just in America though. Project Stargate will also be impacting Europe with massive data centers. Project Stargate hits Europe. OpenAI launches giant data center powered by 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs, but probably not in the country you'd expect. Europe's most powerful data center rises in the Arctic Circle. OpenAI's European ambitions have taken a surprising turn with the launch of its Project Stargate in northern Norway, and that is also from TechRadar. So folks, now what does all this mean? Why are they creating all these AI data centers, and what does that look like for the future? Well, let's look at another article here, which was written by John and Nisha Whitehead at the Rutherford Institute, and I'm not reading the whole article, just parts of things here. Have you ever wondered who's pulling the strings? Anything we touch is a weapon. We can deceive, persuade, change, influence, inspire. We come in many forms. We are everywhere. That's a US Army Psychological Operations recruitment video. And by the way, that video is really creepy. I saw it when it came out in 2022, and what's worse, it was an official US government sanctioned video used for recruitment. If someone is swayed positively by the video into wanting to join them, then I would wonder what sort of mental state that person must be in. But let's get back to the article. From viral memes to military-grade influence operations, the government is waging a full-spectrum psychological war, not against foreign enemies, but against its own citizens. The goal: compliance, control, conformity. The battlefield is no longer physical, it is psychological, and the American people are the targets. From AI-manipulated narratives and National Guard psyops to loyalty scorecards for businesses, the deep state's war on truth and independent thought is no longer covert, it's coordinated, calculated, and by design. Yet, while both major parties long in service to the deep state have weaponized mass communication to shape public opinion, the Trump administration is elevating it into a new art form that combines meme warfare, influencer psyops, and viral digital content to control narratives and manufacture consensus. In doing so, President Trump and his influencers are capitalizing on a propaganda system long cultivated by the security industrial complex. What we're witnessing is not just propaganda, it's psychological warfare. And psychological warfare, as defined by the RAND Corporation, involves the planned use of propaganda and other psychological operations to influence the opinions, emotions, attitudes, and behavior of opposition groups. Today, those opposition groups include the American public. For years, the government has been bombarding the citizenry with propaganda and psychological operations aimed at conditioning us to be compliant, easily manipulated, and supportive of the police state's growing domestic global power. I won't read any more of that article, but folks, we live in dangerous times and difficult times, and we need to stay grounded in the Word and realize that this is where we're going into the beast system. Stay grounded in the Lord and in the Word and praying for wisdom and discernment, because this is only going to escalate. We are fast tracking into this AI-controlled system, which will basically be used to manipulate, to surveil, and to control, and to ostracize anybody that stands against it and doesn't like it. It's like conform or be damned, basically. So, except in reality, it's the other way around. If you conform, in the end, we will be damned. So, folks, we're going to need real discernment in these days ahead as all of this comes more and more into fruition, and it's happening so quickly as we march towards singularity, as we march towards transhumanism, as data centers explode in size and number, and everything about us will be on record in a data center. And people will embrace it with wearables. People will embrace it with glasses, which I've just read another article I won't cover here, but glasses that will record everything you say and everything you see. You put on these special glasses, and then it can give you answers via AI to, whatever you want. People might ask you a question and you can get the answer from the AI and so on. It's just like, this is just nuts where this is going. It's uncharted territory, but the Bible tells us where it's heading, and that, I believe, is Revelation chapter 13. That no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast in the 666 system. We're not there yet, but that's where it's heading. So folks, right now we need to put our faith in God. We need to really be studying the Word and praying for discernment like never before. So that basically is all I want to cover in this video. Please make sure you subscribe to us at aminutemidnight.com, and also like the video and share it. God bless, God willing, we'll be back with another episode in a few days' time.